Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Priya, and today we're talking about something I know so many of you are curious about: AI. Not the overwhelming techie version, but the practical, this will actually save you hours this week version. We're breaking down 5 strategies women entrepreneurs can use right now to automate the boring stuff and get back to the work that actually moves the needle. So let's get into it. Hi, welcome to Empower Her. My name is Priya. I'm your host, and I have a very special guest with me today, Wong. Hi, welcome, Wong.
Hi, Priya. Thanks for having me.
So here, she helps professionals and small businesses adopt AI without overwhelming them. She's an AI educator, she's an AI coach, and a founder as well. Um, can you tell a little bit more about yourself to our audience?
Yeah, I'm unapologetically obsessed with AI. Excuse me. Yeah, AI has just been this technological advancement that I just fell in love with and couldn't put down. I just love reading everything about it. And because of all of this information that I have in my head, I thought, well, people need to learn more about this in a way that is simplified, because all that noise out there and whatnot can be really overwhelming and makes people confused. And so I really try to break things down and provide workshops, one-on-one coaching, and any kind of support needed to kind of get someone from overwhelm to confidence.
Amazing. So it's, I guess, more about accessibility and education right now when it comes to AI. Um, when do you think you had this, aha moment where you realized that you needed to make it more accessible to other professionals?
Yeah, so I was down a rabbit hole in this AI sector, and the more I was reading about it and testing out the different AI tools, the more I realized it was very biased. And because of that, being a woman and a woman of color, the biases are working against us. And so if we are not representative in the AI algorithm, it's just going to further perpetuate that bias and the gap. So once I realized that there was that gap, I felt really compelled to ensure that women and people from underrepresented communities have access to not just the literacy aspect of things, but also access to the technology itself. Yeah, it was just this clear output of like AI output of just ignoring, a large part of the demographics. And this is what people are using these days, as the answer for things. And so if this is kind of the resource that we're using, and it's just going to, further perpetuate those inequalities. And I just felt that was wrong.
Hmm. Exactly. And um, when do you think, like, what I mean is, how did you transition from feeling, intimidated by AI, which a lot of people do right now, to teaching others about how to use it confidently?
Yeah. Okay. So I wasn't necessarily intimidated by it. I was more enamored by it. And because of that, and the inefficiencies that it created as a result of using it, I just thought, there's just so many people out there that are, just burnt out or just not having enough time to do anything. You're either like a parent that has a young child, or you're a parent with a young child and an older family member having to take care of. There's just so many competing priorities, and if we can just learn a couple of things and embrace AI, it can just help us gain our time back. And so when that aha moment came for me, I felt like it was just something that I needed to share so that people can just be a little bit more, have a bit more handle on things in their daily lives.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Makes sense. Um, and then talk to us a little bit about, your career journey. Um, Take us through like your background. Where did you start from, and how did you end up with AI?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I have always worked in financial services for like the last 25 years or so, and always done training. There's always training, financial services, training tech. And so when I left financial services and got into this AI sector, I thought that was a perfect sort of marrying of the two. I can teach AI to corporate professionals, to companies, to business owners, because I already have that sort of like learning and development background, and I have a change management background as well, so I can help companies adopt AI, and that's a way more successful adoption percentage than if you didn't have any change management practices. So it was, yeah, quite a transition from financial services into something like tech, but at the end of the day, there was always a training component.
Mhm. Um, is there some aspect in your training right now where the financial services meets with AI sometimes, or is it completely tech right now?
Right now, it's completely tech. I have some sort of financial services individuals, but not necessarily like organizations yet, because here in Canada, there is quite a heavy compliance around how financial services are being operated, how they operate, and so a lot of the times they're using organizations like Deloitte, the Big Four management companies. So little solopreneurs like me, can impact at
Mhm.
an individual basis, but not necessarily at enterprise level.
Okay, okay. Um, and then for a lot of our audience, it's mostly women, which are either entrepreneurs, they are either self-employed, or there are a lot of women as well who are kind of juggling multiple income streams as well. Um, where can any women implement AI first for maximum impact?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, us women, we just do everything. We do it all, and we don't get rewarded for it, but it's just in our nature to take on things and be overly busy. So I feel like the best way to get sort of like the bang for your buck when it comes to AI is to use it in some sort of uh, something that is a repetitive type of task that's always being done, that doesn't have a lot of huge like ramifications if it was sort of like taken over by AI. So something like continuously having to like schedule things, or continuously having to rewrite things. Those kind of mundane things can definitely be automated by AI. So those, there's probably several of those scenarios that can be taken off of a lot of women and entrepreneurs' plates. So it's just a matter of trying to dabble in it a little bit, see which one works, which one has the most sort of impact for you, given the time that you do normally spend on it, and what are you now doing with the time that you do have now as a result of AI, helping out.
Mhm. Um, I'm just curious, do you use any kind of like AI task automations for your work? And are there like any examples you can share?
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of Claude, and I've been using Claude AI for over a year and a half now, power user. And recently, a few months ago, they came out with Claude Cowork. And this is an amazing feature within the paid plan, unfortunately. And what you can do is you can schedule tasks. So every week, I have it scraping different like Reddit and different sort of like news outlets for news applicable. I also have automating a faceless Instagram channel for myself.
Mm,
So many different things that are just on autopilot that I just don't have to worry about anymore. And it's
mm,
connected to different tools. And sometimes I have to, go back to it and make sure it's, done properly, or sometimes it breaks and whatnot,
mm,
but it just takes a huge amount of hours off my plate. So
mm,
co-work has been great for that. Just now, I was working on a AI for leadership ebook, and
mm,
I had, Claude help me generate some of the content, and then Claude connected directly to Canva and created
mm,
the actual, you know, uh, put the content into a Canva, document. I didn't have
mm.
to put anything in it. It did it all for me. All I had to do was,
Mm,
review it and make a few changes,
mm,
obviously. Yeah, and
mm.
it was done within half an hour.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things, especially that have come up with Claude lately. Because I am actually also a power user of Claude. Yeah, I actually pay for it because, yeah, for me, it's worth it. So, yeah, so I'm really excited to use all the features. I haven't completely explored the co-work part yet. I've explored it with like different other AIs, but yeah, I'm definitely excited to use that as well. And I also heard that Claude also came up with basically, the agentic use of where it can take over your whole computer and like manage some tasks for you as well. So really excited to try that as well.
Yeah, under the paid plan, you also get the um, browser extension. Have you
Mhm.
used it yet?
No, no, I haven't tried it.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
actually, whatever tab you're working on. So I used it for, I wanted to apply for becoming a pickleball coach. I was
Mm.
on the page, and then I put on the Claude browser extension, and I just said, help me fill out this page, this application for me. And it did it all for me. Like it,
Amazing. Oh, okay. All right. I'm definitely using that now.
didn't have to lift a finger.
Yeah, anything that saves me time and energy, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Um, so when it comes to, someone, let's say, who hasn't been using AI as much in their tasks, and then, actually starts using it, um, I'm not asking for like a, specific figure, but um, in terms of time, how much time are we saving? Is it a lot, or for a starter user, are they going to see like significant difference in how they um, save time?
Yeah, I'd say in the very, very beginning, let's say you're using it to, rewrite emails or write an article or use it kind of like for communication purposes. I would say it can probably save you, an hour for like a larger communication task. An hour at the very minimum, sometimes even more. When it came to that ebook, I mean, it can save you 20 hours. So at the very beginning, on that beginning spectrum, it could definitely save you, at least an hour when you're just kind of a beginner user. And then when you become like a more, regular user of AI, you would probably notice anywhere up to 10 to 20 hours easily. So it's kind of like you got to put the reps in though to be able to see that kind of efficiency and time save. It's basically you're learning a new skill, and then the better you are at the skill, the more time you're going to save as a result. So I think people who say that they don't benefit from any of the time savings is because they haven't used it in a way properly, because there isn't a right way of using AI,
Mhm.
and then they're also just not using it in a way and iterating along the way to find what works for them. It's not necessarily going to be cookie cutter for everyone. There's going to be different nuances and sort of things that you have to maneuver through in order to get it to work for you according to, in a personalized way.
Mhm, mhm. Um, and then what do you think are like the most common mistakes anyone can make when they start integrating AI into their workflow?
Ooh, yeah. I think when it comes to like using the chat bots like Claude or ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini, it's really not understanding how to prompt properly.
Mhm.
And prompt engineering, I feel like is really kind of a word that some male and pale tech bros came up with just to make them sound smart, because it's really a set of instructions, right?
Yeah.
And I think that kind of prevents people from really understanding what prompting is.
Mhm,
Far too often I've seen generic prompting, like
mhm,
write me a bio for LinkedIn, or write me a social media post for Instagram about XYZ.
mhm,
And it's you have to apply a framework, right?
mhm,
So I think the mistake is not realizing that the quality that you put in results in a better quality output.
mhm,
So you really have to think about frameworks and be intentional about what you're writing, who it's for, what it's for,
mhm,
and ensuring that you yeah, just put some thought into it, and then you get a customized output that you're much happier with.
mhm. Yeah, I read somewhere that someone really gave like a good example of, how to prompt, and that was basically like thinking of, any of these chatbots as like an assistant, and like how would you tell an assistant to, do something for you? If there's an assistant, you can't just be like, yeah, write me a letter. You'll have to explain what the letter is going to say, who is it for, what exactly are you looking for from that letter, what's your intention, all those things, so that that assistant understands what they're doing. Otherwise you're just gonna get not so good results.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Treat your AI assistant as like a human assistant.
And
That's a good way of
yeah,
putting it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. um And the next question was about basically AI adoption, and how does that directly translate to revenue growth for your clients?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing is like the time savings. So that frees up your capacity to work on higher value tasks. So that alone means like, if you're paid $100 an hour, or you're charging $100 an hour, and then you're working on something that, you know, that could be, farmed out to somebody who's $20 an hour, then obviously, and you're doing that, you're missing out. Like you've got this, amount of money that you could be used for more efficiency. So that alone, the capacity part of it is I think a huge ROI. The other
Mhm.
one is like just speed. I mean, that ebook that I was just talking about, I saved 20 hours, like it just, how could you not want to save 20
Yeah,
hours?
yeah.
Right?
I feel like for women, especially, I think they see a lot of difference, and I think in terms of like multitasking, it's a huge support for women in their work. Um, because I feel like women do a lot of multitasking, right? So we definitely need any kind of like AI tool support where we can use it. So yeah.
Yeah, let's lean on whatever help we can get,
Mhm,
to just make us, more present in whatever we're, trying to do.
mhm, mhm, exactly. Um, so for someone who's, managing multiple ventures, what free or low cost AI tools deliver the biggest bang for your buck?
Oh yeah, well I'd have to say Claude. Claude is,
Mm.
I call Claude Claudette. So,
Nice.
and I've always used Claudette because not only because of the privacy and the security aspect of it, I just love the way the writing was kind of more human, like more quality like it just didn't sound very robotic, even though I put in personal preferences to make it sound even more like me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for sure, reach out and dabble into Claude, and especially now with Claude Cowork, just on the
Mm-hmm.
paid version, there's just so many advantages of using Cowork. And once you're familiar with Claude, it's an easier transition to go into Cowork. So that is, there's the free version. I would say Canva. I've used Canva, the free version, for 4 years now. I haven't had to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I put in my brand colors and everything. That's been fantastic. I believe there is AI now baked into it, but I think you have to pay. That's on the paid version. I also, like Beehive for newsletters. They've got a free tier up to, I can't remember how many subscribers. And that's been really helpful in terms of trying to build up an audience. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really important for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. Content creation, content building, newsletter, email lists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, email lists. Yeah, and that sort of thing. Because yeah, that type of marketing is, I'm going to use the word free in quotes,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes time, so it's you don't have to shell out any more expenses. Yeah, that's just a great way to grow an audience and sort of be have an audience ready for you for when you need to launch something or relaunch a service or a product or anything like that. So yeah, so the Beehive, Claude, Canva. Um, I'm sure there's others. Perplexity. Love Perplexity.
Mm-hmm.
Free version. It's better than Google. It gives you concise results with citations, and it's sourced from reputable sources. So you don't have like all the marketing content coming up first, or the sponsored links and all of that is usually seen in Google. Yeah, Perplexity I love too.
Is there like specific aspects you use like Claude for and then Perplexity for? Like, do you see a difference in like whichever aspect they're good in?
Yeah, I mean, I love Claude for pretty much everything, but I do use Perplexity because it's a better researcher. So
Mm-hmm.
I have the pro version. So, and I noticed a difference because it'll research and find, articles, papers, whatever it is, related to the topic that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I just find that the free version does a quick scan and comes up with results, whereas paid plan does a better job at doing that research. And now Perplexity can do images, and it's almost behaving in a similar way to Claude Cowork, in the sense that it can do things for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're all kind of like coming out with sort of like the same
Yeah,
features.
yeah.
But Perplexity is definitely known for being a research tool.
Hmm. Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I've used like different AIs for different things. Like I've been trying to see which one is good at what. So obviously I use like Claude, sometimes Perplexity, ChatGPT, Gemini, to kind of see like, oh, like which one is doing job like a good job in which aspect. So yeah, still trying to figure it out. But yeah, I feel like Perplexity is definitely like more of a research tool because it does like really good research whenever you ask a question about like a specific topic. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also love how after the output is generated, there's the suggested questions that you can ask as well, because sometimes
Yeah.
you never would have thought of that, right? And so it's helpful that way.
Exactly. Okay, awesome. Um, have you seen AI help people scale income streams that they couldn't have managed manually?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I've seen folks using AI for like content creation, and then they'll use it for, administrative and operational purposes. And so, because they're using these sort of automations in support and in conjunction with each other, they are able to free up some time. And I've seen, over time they've learned to let go, and then therefore, yeah, figure out, okay, well, maybe now I can make that digital product that I've always wanted to, create, or now I can spend way more time on content creation and build an audience that way. So there has been, yeah, some really favorable pros to being able to adopt AI, and has a straight line to income generation.
Mm, interesting. Um, and then, is there any AI capability that you can think of that most people are unaware that could actually transform how they work?
Yeah, okay. So I'm probably in a bubble. So I feel like this is just second nature, but I should probably mention this. A lot of people use like Claude, ChatGPT, without sort of like personalizing their profile. I guess you can say their profile settings. So in Claude, there's something called personal preferences, where you can talk about who you are,
Mm,
um, who your ICP is, who do you serve, what your products and services are, what tone you prefer, what language you do not want in
mm,
any of the output,
mm,
and what I so these are the personal preferences in ChatGPT. I think they're called custom instructions. So I often make sure that in my personal preferences, I also have this one sort of statement, two statements actually. The first one is, be a devil's advocate, always challenge me, because AI likes to make us happy and just like tends to
mm,
agree with
yeah.
everything. Claude's a little bit better,
Mm,
but I just want to make sure that it's not just saying yes to everything,
yeah.
Um,
Mm,
so be the devil's advocate kind of
mm,
statement. And then the second statement that I think people need to incorporate or should incorporate is for Claudette to always ask me questions until Claudette is 95% sure that she can complete the task successfully. So that
mm,
is one of the ways that when you put in your
mm,
request, your instruction, Claudette will spit out 5, 6, 8 questions to kind of narrow things down so
mm,
that your output is customized to you. Because
mm,
sometimes when we're putting in our prompt, we don't think about all these things.
mm,
So to instruct our AI or Claudette to do that is such a big amount of, such a big help to
mm,
keep us in a direction that we're most happy with. Like we're
mm,
we've having to think about some of these answers, but we'll be most happy because these questions have been thought of,
mm,
and we're putting in
mm,
our perspectives and
mm,
our wishes so that Claudette's output can be better tailored to our needs.
mm. Yeah, because I feel like you won't have to go back and forth again and again to, clarify things to Claude that, oh, like this is not what I was looking for. That's what my question was, or, clarifying more things. So if it asks you question after, you make a request, then, it's much better because you're going to get a much more accurate answer you're looking for. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely need to yeah, set that up so that it's so those preferences are reflected on all your conversations.
Makes sense. Um, and then for someone who's never written an AI prompt before, what's the basic formula they need to know?
Yeah, yeah. So I teach a framework called Risen.
Mhm.
The R stands for role. So you really have to give your Claudette a persona, like act as a product specialist, or act as a LinkedIn expert, or act as a CEO, or whatever question that you're asking. There's going to be an expert that can answer that question. So a
Mhm.
role, and
Mhm.
then I is just whatever your instruction is, like create an ebook or an article or an email. So
Mhm.
role instructions. S stands steps. S is for steps. Oh my gosh, why did I'm thinking, I don't know why I wasn't thinking that. Yeah, so
You're fine.
basically like you got your instructions, and then what steps does the AI need to take? Like, is it making it into bullet points, or making it a bit more easier grade 10 level English to read kind of thing. And then the E is for like the end goal or the expectations. So who are we writing? Who's the audience? Who are we writing? Who are we getting this output for? Is it, for our marketing executives, or our senior leadership, or a group of investors? We really want to make sure that we have everything covered. And then N in the Risen framework is for narrowing. And this is generally like, don't use floral language, or be concise, under 200 words, kind of like really making sure that we're kind of chipping at the edges to make it a bit more to what we're looking for. And usually in the end, the narrowing is where I put make sure you ask me questions until you're 95% sure you can complete the task. So that is essential. So between the persona and the ask me questions until you're 95% sure, those are the two biggest things that will make the biggest difference in a boring, mediocre prompt to a kick ass prompt.
Amazing. No, that was a really good formula. Thank you for sharing that. Um, and what are the biggest prompting mistakes you see people that, waste time?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is just being really generic. Like, people are just saying, yeah, write me, a policy about XYZ, so without that Risen framework, they're going to get something that they're not going to be happy with, and people are going to know AI wrote it. Adopt the personal preferences and the Risen framework, and you're golden. I think the other prompting mistake is, once they have an output, um, it's not reviewed.
Mm,
Like, it's just copy and pasted, and like we're good to go kind of thing. So that's
mm,
like a big mistake in terms of just trusting AI, because again, AI hallucinates. It makes stuff up, and it just
mm,
wants to make you happy, and it's
mm,
not something that should be 100%
mm,
um, used. I would caution that, and I always suggest, like, AI can produce 80%. Human oversight is the other 20. Like, you always have to iterate, check facts, check data, all of that.
mm,
So the prompt can be good,
mm,
and there's still work to be done after that.
mm. For since you mentioned, obviously double checking and reviewing, are there like certain steps that you go through? I mean, obviously, the basic one is just, reviewing what AI has come up with, and you can always check, what citations it has. But is there like any more things that you can do?
I mean, I always like to read it out loud to make sure it sounds like me. Because
Hmm.
sometimes, like when you're reading, it can be a lot of things can be overlooked.
Hmm.
So reading out loud, and I think there's like a tool now that can actually I can't remember if it's ChatGPT, but it can read it out to you. I know it doesn't sound great, but at least have like a different perspective in terms of you've been iterating this output or like this conversation, this chat conversation. Things might start looking kind of the same, and so when you kind of hear it, or when you kind of get it, when you absorb it in a different way, you can kind of understand, like you can sort of point out, maybe, oh, that didn't sound right, or maybe I should change this. So yeah, have it read out to you or read it out.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
that
can I share another? Oh, sorry. I need to share another free tool.
sure, sure.
Sorry, this is one of my other favorites. It's called Whisper Flow. It's spelled whisper without the H.
Hmm.
And what it is it can basically dictate faster than you can type, three times
Oh.
faster. Yeah. So once you click a hotkey,
Hmm.
usually like it's like a control button or something like that, you just start talking,
Hmm.
and then it types everything out really fast. And it even knows when to put things into bullet points. And
Hmm.
sometimes when you say, oh, actually, no, it's not, when you make a mistake, it
Yeah.
actually corrects itself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then types it out correctly. It's not always, 100%, but it's pretty dang good.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
have the paid version,
Hmm.
and I hit the hotkey and
Hmm.
I just say the trigger words, and
Hmm.
then like, whatever I had put in it, it just types it all out. So you can either, how how many times you copy and paste your LinkedIn link, right? So I
Yeah.
just click the button and say my LinkedIn profile.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then now you can put like, like paragraphs and whatnot for stuff that you repeatedly have to type
Hmm.
out. So free version, you get a limited number, but it's
Hmm.
not bad. Uh,
Hmm.
and yeah, so it's my other favorite tool.
Oh, no, that's amazing. Yeah,
Very
that
cool.
seems like a really handy tool. I'm definitely gonna check that out after
Yeah,
this
yeah.
podcast. Amazing. Um, so when it comes to your approach to AI, what industries or businesses can benefit from this kind of approach?
Yeah, I would say, like coaches, consultants, and service-based industries, because typically there's a lot of admin, when you're trading admin for, your expertise. I think, AI wins in terms of replacing that admin automation type of mundane task, type of thing. So yeah, typically there's yeah, a lot of people that are just having to do, yeah, that admin, content creation, um, different types of communication. That's where AI excels at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true. Um, where do you see AI heading in the next 2 to 3 years, especially for solo entrepreneurs and small businesses?
Yeah. So earlier this year, I know it's only like Q1, but 2026 is the year of agentic AI, and Q1 definitely showed that with the launch of Claude's Cowork, Claude Code. We're now not using AI just for like communicating, like just for chatting.
Mm-hmm.
AI is now to complete tasks for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to be there. You can be sleeping and it's doing tasks for you. And so I think, this it's just going to be one of those years where probably by the end of the year, our AIs are going to be like managing probably 50% of our jobs, like
Mm,
entrepreneurs' jobs,
mm,
probably even more than that.
mm,
Just at the rate, there's so many updates now, so much revolutionary changes. I'm hopeful that by the end of the year, there's just going to be more mind blowing advances.
mm,
Open law, it's something that came out maybe I can't think it's maybe a month ago, and it's doing things on your behalf.
mm.
There's It lacks guardrails, so it can spend all your money or like sell all your crypto and things like that. So,
Okay.
I haven't dabbled in it yet. I'd be very very tempted. Um,
Mm,
yeah, and so it's just you just give it a task and it's just doing it all for you. So
mm,
that's going to be, I think, the next 2 years. Like we're really seeing it being adopted pretty quickly this first quarter. We're just going to get so much more used to it the rest of the year. And it's just going to kind of, evolve from there in terms of like tasks done on our behalf. I mean, we were using ChatGPT for a good like 2 years just, through communication or through just conversation, and all of a sudden this agentic capabilities came up, and so I think that's going to take probably that same amount of time that
mm.
when for the time that we were using just like ChatGPT just for conversations. Yeah, and I just think it's also going to take people in organizations to catch up on using chat for the for maximum usage, and then they're going to transition over into agentic AI.
Amazing. Um, and before we end the podcast, do you want to tell our audience about, what kind of services you provide right now and where they can find you if, they want to reach out to you?
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so yeah, I offer AI training on an individual level and also at an enterprise level. And I make AI simple to learn. I make sure that it's tech jargon free and that it's beginner friendly. I can wear customized. Right now, there's a huge request or huge uptake in learning Claude and Claude Cowork, because that is something that has been helping businesses a lot. And there's been a spotlight on Claude as a result of what happened in the Pentagon.
Mhm,
Came to Anthropic, which is
mhm,
Claude's parent company,
mhm,
and then ChatGPT coming in, and people are now leaving ChatGPT. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is helping businesses create SaaS solutions, so software as a service, through these no-code tools. And
mhm,
so I've been able to create or build two apps using these tools. One, I don't know if I can mention them, but these no-code tools where I can just use my natural language,
mhm,
and these apps are being created because of the technology these days doesn't require anyone to know how to code anymore. And
mhm,
so, I teach people how to, use these no coding tools. It's called vibe coding.
mhm,
Um, and so I hold those kind of workshops, and
mhm.
I also provide those type of SaaS solutions for businesses.
Amazing. And where can they find you if they wanted to reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can reach me at www.superpowerswithay.com. I'm also on LinkedIn under L Wong. I'm on Instagram, superpowers underscore with underscore AI, and got a bigger following on TikTok at superpowers AI.
Amazing. I'll list all those in the description below. So if anyone wants to reach out to Elle, feel free to do so. I hope this episode was insightful and we were able to learn something from this episode. And thank you, Elle, so much for sharing your insights, sharing so many, resources and tools, especially for our audience who are majorly women solo entrepreneurs. I think it's going to help them a lot. But if anyone wants to learn more, they can definitely reach out to you. So thanks again, and all the best, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Priya. Thanks very much for your time.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. If you're walking away with even one tool or idea you're ready to test in your business, that's a win. AI isn't here to replace you, it's here to free you up to do more of what only you can do. If this resonated with you, share it with a fellow entrepreneur who's been on the fence about AI. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.